I could see fourth place, it was like on the same straightaway as me.
The show was over when they put me to the tail. I would have lapped the field. That's what would have happened, and that would have been entertaining.
Episode 5, the real episode 5 of the High Limit Room. Dillon Welch, Kyle Larson, Brad Sweet with you. We always start these shows off with a victory toast. Sometimes we have wins that are fresh on our minds. Sometimes it's been a little bit. We have a lot of victory toasts today. Kyle had basically the perfect week. Take all the money out of North Wilkesboro with the truck race. Yeah, the truck race and the All-Star race, and then of course his first high limit win at Wayne County. And Brad, we haven't had a show since Brad's most recent win, which is at Williams Grove on night 1 of the Morgan Cup,
which is way more impressive than any of Kyle's wins. Me winning at Williams Grove, way more impressive. So
I agree. Yeah.
So cheers.
You're basically posse now. I mean, you've won 2 out of the last 3 races at Williams Grove.
Yeah, I mean, Williams Grove ain't so bad. I mean, I guess nowadays. But hey, how about a millie though? I mean, that's something that is pretty damn cool. So, cheers. Good week for the high limit boys.
A lot of other high roller winners too. This past weekend won a lot of races. So, good week all around. All right. So Kyle, let's talk about North Wilkesboro real quick. Because I thought your comments afterwards were very appropriate. We saw the Scott Bloomquist tweet and the reaction. I think you're probably right. I think you probably came pretty damn close if things had gone differently to lapping everybody.
I wasn't going to lap everybody, but
it might have been close though.
I didn't even think we were going to be good. I was running 21st or whatever in the beginning. I'm like, yeah, this is about where I thought I was going to run. So this is about right. And then, yeah, we put tires on, and gosh, I was super fast and drove to the front and was kind of confused the whole time because there was other people on tires too, and I'm like, man, are they passing like I am? And then I got out to the lead and eventually got to a almost 13-second lead. I could see fourth place. It was on the same straightaway as me. So I wish we didn't have a caution there because that'd have been cool. I'd have been able to lap a handful more.
Was that place fun to race? I mean, it looked like it. I mean, obviously when you have a car that good, I'm sure anywhere's fun, but it looked fun.
Yeah, anywhere's fun when your car's that good. It was enjoyable. I mean, yeah, I think maybe if my car wasn't driving good, I would have hated it, but it was fun. It was hard, because it was so one lane kind of dominant. Yeah, they put those traction patches around the bottom of the track at both ends, and it really just made the second lane non-existent after 2 laps. So that's why it was difficult to pass. But I got that line and 4 working for me in the truck race, and then in the cup race it worked really well. So I liked that that lane off of 4 opened up, because if it wasn't for that, it would have been super hard to pass. But all in all, it was cool because the atmosphere was great. To me, the racing could have been even more boring than it was, and it still would have been a great race just because the atmosphere was unreal. I don't know if I've been to a NASCAR Cup Series race where I've felt that sort of energy. I mean, the crowd, literally, the front row is on the catch fence. So it was cool. It was really neat.
So that's your third $1 million All-Star race win. So Brad, we can expect the high limit purses to be increased moving forward, right?
I don't know. I mean, if Kyle gets off his wallet, we certainly can expect that. So I was cheering him on because, I hope that some of that money gets passed on down.
Well, speaking of high limit, of course, we were in action a week ago now at the Wayne County Speedway in Ohio. Brad, I'll direct this to you first. I thought the racing start to finish was top notch. I mean, I think that battle for, I guess it was third at one point between all 3 of the NOS cars was about as good as it gets, right? I mean, that was incredible. 3 races into this year, though, so kind of evaluated, I guess, from your perspective and just kind of how you think things are going so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Wayne County was our best event to date as far as from my standpoint, which I'm looking at like operations and, how we get from point A to point B throughout the night. And I thought that things went, good. We didn't have any crazy crashes. The racing was good. We were like, progressing from one event to the other event, and the logistics of like how hot laps of qualifying went at Wayne County were, it was tough. And like everybody did a good job. So I was like super happy with all that, very proud of that. And, I just think there's a few things, obviously, on the promotion side, like we did like a fan pit pass and the lines were like super long. So I didn't love that. So we're like, we learned from that. We're going to make that better for the fan experience side, but it didn't hurt anything as far as like the fans got in, they got to see everything they needed to see. The racing was great. And, the damn dice roll was still kind of a pain in my ass, but as far as, all the other stuff, yeah, I was happy. Not going to say there's still not room for improvement, but my perspective was I enjoyed being a race fan that night, and I didn't really have to get like too stressed out. And Kyle stumped the show up, but the racing behind that was really good. I was honestly cheering on Sheldon to get up there and give Kyle a run for his money. The promoter and me really wanted to see some excitement there, but overall, really good.
What didn't you like about the dice roll? I mean, obviously we changed it up a little bit, kind of called an audible in the middle of it there. What can be improved on that now that we've kind of changed it a little bit?
Honestly, I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about how to make it more enticing. I will say the conversation of like, the event, like a lot of positive, and, there's a lot of people that reach out that I listen to and have like relationships within the industry, but everybody talked about the dice roll. Even like my closest friends to peers to other racers. Once I got to like the outlaw race, they were like, everybody talked about like what we can do to like, they like it. Everybody likes it. I just think we want to like come up with something that works to where like it creates the excitement we're trying to create. So,
I mean, they won't even move back one row. Like,
I mean, yeah, what more can you do? I think that's part of it, right? That's part of it, right? Though, is that like you do something different every night. That kind of keeps people on their toes.
Well, that big scary guy in that white 57 was just lurking there in third, so it made my job hard to entice him to move back because nobody wants to start behind him. Let's be honest. I mean, $32,000 to the two guys that were going. They haven't won a lot of races, so they were both just looking at me like, you're not getting us off the front row. It's our only chance is to keep them behind us. We're not going to let them go in front of us. So I knew it was an uphill battle. The thing about the dice roll that people have to understand is like, there's not some big pool of money that we're trying to give away. Like we're legit. Like it's just Kyle and I want to like entice people. And if they do win the money, like, yeah, we'll have to pay it out of our pockets, but we're good with it. Like we like it. We want to create some excitement, and Phil's a great supporter, and he's put some, great sponsorship into our program. So, but there's not some crazy amount of pool of money. So we just want to make sure that like, whoever takes the dice roll, they are realize that like they have a chance to make some extra money that it makes it fun for the fans. It creates some entertainment value. And I knew it was going to be tough with the people on the front row. So really we're waiting for the day that Kyle gets on the front row, rolls to 12, and then we can all see if he can actually do it or not.
I was nervous. Like, I tried my ass off to get to second. I mean, you could see it. It's not very hard. And, but then I was like, I mean, it would have been hard. Like if there was a 9 through 12, like it would have been hard for even me.
You don't have a choice. You do not have a choice. Like, I'm sorry. You just won $1 million. It doesn't matter what the dice says. You're going there.
I'm points racing.
Points racing. Yeah, shit. I don't know. I mean,
we got to pay double points with it too.
I'll say if fans, we got a lot of good feedback last week. I think the thing that might have worked well was we give them the first and second the shot to do a few things, and then like whatever the dice says, we give that guy the extra chance. Like the third option is somebody's going for the dirt dice roll.
Unless that dice is my number where I start. And you roll
if it says where the 57 starts, then that's when I give Wikipedia the look, and the cameraman's got to zoom up real quick, and we just kick it a little bit. But no, hey, we'll give you a chance to make some extra money. So if you can put on a show, let's see it.
Are you, so if you, Kyle, it's inevitably going to happen, right? You finish first or second in the dash. Have you just made up your mind that whatever's rolled, you're going to take? I mean, is it even a question at this point?
I don't think I'm allowed to say
I
no.
don't think you are either.
I might not even get the chance to roll. There's probably oh yeah, he's
Brad, what if we just make a 57 dice and we just roll that, and that's where Kyle starts?
Well, that's when I give Wikipedia like the wink, wink, and he just pulls out these special 2 dice that are in his back pocket, and there's 6s on all the corners, so it doesn't matter what he does. It's a 12.
Tough crowd, Kyle.
I know.
Well, we want to see it. Hey,
I think that's fine as long as when the 49 runs top 2 at the Lernerville in the dash, then he's got to start.
We have the 49 dice on backup on standby there.
Yep. Well, I'll make sure I run third then in the dash. Sometimes you got to be a little bit smarter.
We'll give Wikipedia the wink, wink too whenever it rolls the 49 number.
Hey, okay, we'll exclude the 50,000 win race because apparently that we don't want to mess with that. But when we get to the 23,000 win shows, then we'll have the special 57 dice. But honestly, I just the whole thing about the dice rolls is we want to give people a chance to make a little extra money, and if they're willing to take the risk, they do it.
How we did it, Wayne County is good though. Like it's still like the crowd still has somebody to cheer for. Like when Aaron Reitzel probably had no clue that it was happening and was, I'm sure, pumped and probably ran harder than he would have. So I'm sure the crowd kept an extra eye on him as well.
Yeah, and he was honestly going for $41,000 because he was 32 plus the 3 bounty if he beat Shelton plus the 6,000 we threw on top. So I mean that's pretty cool for a guy that just gets to go out there and just we're just throwing the extra money on top of the incentives if they can figure it out. So either way, I think it's cool. I think what we're trying to do makes a lot of sense. No matter how we get there, I guess we just got to kind of figure it out.
Yep, we'll get there. Kyle, in all seriousness, to win, a race with the high limit series, I know that was important to you to get done eventually, but how did that feel to finally get one?
Well, it felt really good, obviously, to win a high paying race. I mean, 32 grand, I haven't won too many more races that pay more than that. So, that really helps out. I know everybody complains about me having money or whatever, but Paul Silva, we split the winnings, and he does this for a living. So it really means a lot to me when we can win a big race like that, and I know that it goes a long way for him. So it was special, and I think too just being able to get out of the car and thank the fans watching at the racetrack and watching on Flow, for just supporting us and getting to talk about why we do this, let everybody know how hard Brad works and JP and Wikipedia, you guys, everybody works on this deal because we have such a passion for it. So, just having that opportunity to thank them in Victory Lane was pretty neat.
Kyle, Justin Sanders and Justin Peck, the top 3. I think we need to talk about Brian Brown real quick too. He's leading the Tezos Passing Masters Award winner, the Hard Charger Award winner, plus 21 in the feature.
Crazy.
Yeah, we need to get him qualified better.
Brown's used to going backwards. He's never going forward in the feature. I mean, look, he's. I mean, you could pick a month of racing for him, and he's minus 40 some spots. Now he's plus 40 something. So I don't know who the Brown is. I know he's got a mullet or something right now, but
he does. He's got the short sides with the curly mullet going on.
I don't know who this guy is in the 21, but he's good right now. He's passing cars. That's rare. Never see that happen.
Ooh, man, that is rough
from the top rope there. He was
just around the little white tires around the bottom at Wayne County. That's everyone's just beating off the wall.
When they were reading the running order on the receivers, and they the 21 was kept inching up. I'm like, well, I know where he's running. So I know when he gets to second, I'm probably in trouble because I can't run down there. So no, it was cool to see. I'm busting his balls, but when you see a guy pass so many cars like that multiple times, I mean, Eldora, he passed a lot of cars at the Outlaw Show. He's obviously passed 40 something cars in the high limit races this year. When you see a guy doing that's not typically known for going forward, I think it's cool. So I'm like, again, I'm busting his balls, but I mean it as a compliment, because yeah, him and his team are doing really good now. And I know he's got a great operation, great partners, and I'm sure he's having a blast, passing people.
Yeah, they're rolling right now. No doubt about that. Kyle, I want to talk quickly with you about your trip to IMS last week. I was there. Obviously, you were there for a day on.
You get Dylan in a high limit fire suit for his broadcast booth. He looks good.
I was trying to get Townsend, he was talking about you racing and winning. I was trying to get him to talk, pump us up a little bit, but I got to work on that a little bit. But in all seriousness, obviously you're going to run the 500 next year with Arrow McLaren. They've been super fast this month. Great shot to win this year. But what did you think of kind of being immersed with the team for a day and kind of getting to experience that and preview, what you're going to get to do next year?
Yeah, I mean, I was, just barely kind of behind the scenes, really. It was kind of a quick day. I feel like I did a lot of media, really, more than anything while I was there. But it was good just to go and kind of just see stuff, see how they have it laid out. Their hospitality area is super nice, where they feed the teams and drivers and stuff. And hearing that the drivers have like their own, or like the chef cooks them their own meals, like even stuff like that, like is good to like at least have a plan for. Seeing their engineering room, like where they had their pre-meetings, post-practice meetings, stuff like that, garage layout. Just getting an idea of all that, I think, is the small stuff that you don't really think that you would want to even or need to think about. But having some awareness about where things are laid out before I go next year, I think will help the surprise of stuff. And I wasn't planning on going back, but I'm actually going to be able to go back now Sunday. I want to, like, after going there, I was like, man, I really need to come Sunday for the race and just get reminded how crazy it is. See, where the drivers go, where they hang out, what they do, marketing people, media people, like all of that, just so I'm not like as overwhelmed next year on race day. So I think just all of that stuff was good to see. Obviously I got to go from like, I don't know what they call them, pit boxes or whatever, but pit boxes of the team and kind of plug their radios in and listen to how they communicate. And obviously, it's practice. They have lots of practice. So it's like super laid back, but just cool to hear them talk. I still don't know the difference between understeer and oversteer. So they're going to have to get used to me saying loose or tight, but no, I'm looking for the experience and like being there and gosh, seeing how freaking fast they go. Like I've never been in the outside of the track to watch an IndyCar go around the track, but I went to the spotter stand in turn one at the end of the day and dude, it's wild. So it's a bit nerve wracking when you really get to think about it, but I think I'm ready for it.
Speed's all relative though at that point, right? I mean, there's probably people that think you guys going 140 or wherever you go on the fast dirt tracks is probably crazy too.
But dude, I was talking to Ricky before, I don't know, the All-Star race or something the other night, and we were talking about Indy. I was like, man, like I remember going to Indy when we're on the oval and have like a 9 a.m. practice, and you feel like you're hauling ass into turn one stock car, and we're going like, well, I don't know, 190 something. Like I can't imagine going 241 or 2 miles an hour into turn one. Like it's going to feel crazy. Like the straightaways are going to, I imagine, feel so much shorter than what I'm used to going around there. So I don't know. I'm sure, and I hope it's gonna feel relative, because the grip, like you're gonna have so much more grip. But dude, like their shipments are sketchy.
Do they run wide open, like qualifying 4 laps?
Yeah, ideally.
Like tight and have to bail a little bit, but yeah, they're wide open.
What about like race pace? Like is the whole thing pretty much wide open?
They lift during the race quite a bit.
And when you're in traffic, like I watched them on board, like they lift a lot, to save fuel. Because I think to win the 500, it's kind of obviously track position, but to get that track position, you have to save a lot of fuel to have a shorter pit stop. to kind of leapfrog the guys you're racing, which is very similar to like our super speedway racing. But yeah, they'll lift like super early down the straightaway and coast in the corners. Like
but they're only doing it because they're just drafting. Like they don't have to. Like they could run wide open. Like they're just drafting.
I mean, they couldn't. I don't think they can run wide open in traffic, but and maybe I don't know in the lead if they can or not. But we'll find out.
Man, we're gonna all be cheering you on. I can tell you that. That's crazy and exciting. I'm excited to see it.
I'm excited. It's so cool being there too. Like, and maybe it's just the Indy 500 thing, but like the hospitality stuff, the setups are just unreal. Like it is so nice. Like it reminded me of being like Abu Dhabi at the F1 race. You know, like the hospitality, the money that is spent there is crazy.
I mean, it's the biggest race in the world. I mean, it's the Indy 500. I mean, there's 300 and something thousand people. I don't know that there's many sporting events in the whole wide world that are, as you know, it might be is it in the top 3 or 5?
It's the biggest.
Yeah, it's the biggest
single day sporting event in the world.
I think after my sister goes and sees how nice everything is, she's probably gonna want me to just swap over to IndyCar racing. Less races, better hospitality, all that.
Well, you get to race a little more dirt, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe you could even go race some F1 or something. Who knows?
I wish.
Brad, did you ever want to run the 500? Did you ever have any aspirations to do that?
Me? Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, that's the pinnacle. You know, whether you're an IndyCar fan or not, like the Great American Race is something we all grew up on. I think. I mean, if you're any sort of racing family, or you know, that was like. It was just like, it kind of turned towards NASCAR, but yeah, any chance to run the Indy 500, absolutely. And be a part of that, like, it's crazy. I'm actually super pumped to see Kyle. And I think it's so cool that, like, he's so versatile that, like, I think he'll draw so much attention from, like, I'm definitely
like you're not related.
I'm actually like, I was going to ask you, but like, I don't know how many spotters you get, but like, you know, maybe I could be a spotter.
Let's get Big Cat in the turn 3 spotter stand.
Yeah, like I mean, I want to actually be that engaged into it because I'm living a little bit vicariously through you on this. But I do think it's cool, and I think what you're going to do for the 500 is I don't think they even understand what you're going to do for the 500. So I think it's really cool. The fact that you are willing to go do everything you do and then go run the 500. I mean, a lot of people are a little, you know, it's a little bit maybe scary to some people because it's so foreign and, you know, there are some big wrecks there and things like that. But I just think that you'll do super good. I'm super excited to see it.
I hope so.
Are you just kind of like watching them this month too? Does that make you even more excited to be in one of their cars? I mean, things change obviously in a year, but they're pretty damn good.
Yeah, for sure. Like seeing how, and yeah, I feel like Indy, you know, every couple years kind of changes slightly. And I think next year, don't they have like a new hybrid engine or something coming?
They're supposed to, yeah.
Yeah. So who knows? It could be a lot different, but yeah, it's like, it's fun watching them and seeing how fast they are, listening to their communication, like how happy they are with how the car is handling. I know like Felix Rosenquist, he seemed like very, very happy with his car. So, yeah. And then, you know, them all qualifying in the top 12. Yeah. I mean, it honestly makes you wish that you're like, shoot, I wish I this year, cause I don't know how it's going to be next year, you know, but, it seems like they've closed the gap to Ganassi. So, where I would say Ganassi last year was quite a bit better than the field, it seemed. So this year, I feel like McLaren and Ganassi are pretty equal. So I think it's going to be a great race on Sunday, and I don't really know who's going to win. And, yeah, I'm obviously cheering for McLaren and hoping that they can keep their stuff running good for a whole nother year.
Shameless plug. You can watch it at 11 a.m. on NBC. I'll be there on Sunday. All right. Back to high limit stuff. Next week, back in action at the Granite City or at Tri-City Speedway in Granite City, Illinois. Wednesday, May the 31st. We talked about it on the last show, but busy week there with us on Wednesday. And there's a lot of other racing going on, of course, in addition to NASCAR being in action at Gateway. So you guys have both won there in a midget in I guess the heyday of Gold Crown, right? So, and then Brad, you raced there last month with the Outlaws. So, I guess Brad, we can start with you since you've raced there this year. What's that place like to race on, and what can we expect to see maybe next week?
Yeah, it was a tricky track. I didn't really remember a lot from my midget days. It seemed different, good bit different in a wing sprint car. Obviously, you get going a lot faster and things feel a lot different. But I felt like the patchy grip, like where there's grip, you feel extreme grip, and then when you hit the slick patches, it's really slick. So it created some good racing. I think David Gravel kind of kicked our butts, but they reworked the track a little, and like we were kind of on the bottom for a second, and then it really got racy. And honestly, my car was pretty good early, and I kind of actually faded a little bit, late in the race. But I remember that it got really slick. So qualifying seemed really heavy, really fast, and the cars were really tight. And then by the end of the night, it was slick. So I look forward to seeing some great racing. It seems like they have that track pretty dialed in. It was smooth. Created a lot of good racing. So I'm excited to see what the high limit group can do from the infield there.
Yeah, it's a 3/8 mile, so it's a big place, but I always have kind of felt like it races like a smaller racetrack. I mean, it's not like it gets real, fast and spread out. It's pretty racy. I mean, Kyle, I don't know how much you've raced there in wing sprint car stuff too, but what do you think of that place? Do you like it?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I've never raced in a wing sprint car, a few midget races, a couple late model races. I actually led a good portion of the late model race last year when I think I did double duty with the midget and late model that night. And I hit the wall by myself down the straightaway in the late model and probably was going to win that night. But no, it's fun. Like Brad said, it gets really, like, the slick is really slick, and the grip, like, it's got weird, like, trenches of traction, through the corners. So you can nail it. You can try and like run the bottom or middle to get by somebody, nail it, and then try it again the next lap and miss it by an inch, and you're like hung in the slick. So, and then off of 4, I mean, I don't know, like when you're running the top, I don't know if there's like a sketchier corner than turn 4 at Tri-City. That wall, it comes out, sharp, and like the way that the lights cast over the track, it's got a shadow, so you can't really see it. It's covered in some dirt. So it makes it fun and technical. I've smoked that wall in a midget before, off of 4. So I look forward though to running a sprint car there. It's watched the Outlaw race. Qualifying looked like a lot of fun. The main event looked fun too. 1 and 2 got against the fence, really slick to the wall, and then 3 and 4 you could kind of work some different lanes. So I hope they have the track similar. I know last year when I went for I think I was racing late model and Moa was racing, it was like full lockdown rubber. So, I imagine with it being the first race of the week, the track should be good too. So, look forward to that. And, hopefully you can stretch the point lead a little bit.
Right.
Jeez. I hope the crowd shows up. I hope we have a big crowd.
Yeah. No, the crowd will be there. The crowd last year when I was there every night, I ran every night last year. And it was packed. So,
it's a hotbed for dirt racing down there. They love it.
And it leads into the Cup weekend too.
Yeah.
So I think it's good.
Do you guys remember anything about your Gold Crown races? Do you have any good memories from those weekends or anything that sticks out to you, or not really?
Honestly, like for me, like I won, the first couple races, but I will say like that was one of the first times that like I got to race against like Kyle Larson in a midget. Like we were always go-karts, and like he came out and then like I came back to race a midget, and that was the first time that I ever thought like the cushion was on the fence. I just remember thinking like, there's no way that this guy can run, like bounce off the fence like this every lap. And he did. And I just remember thinking like, I've never really seen anything like that. Like I actually remember thinking that, and not to, like say, versus bubble or whatever, but that was the time that I think I realized like, he might be pretty damn good. That's Gold Crown. So I remember that at that moment, that was something I actually remember pretty clearly.
I remember that weekend too. Like I remember being excited, like Brad said, I don't know if we ever really raced with each other until that point. Maybe like an outlaw race or something if I ever ran, Gold Cup if you were there. But yeah, I remember getting to like be really excited to run against Brad Sweet in a midget. I think that too, that weekend was you ran the Fox Brothers sprint car.
Sprint car, but what midget? I can't remember what midget in.
You were in Binnick? Were you in Binnick's?
Yeah, that was like a one-off thing. I came back. But yeah, you were in Keith and Pete's, obviously, midget.
It was a lot of fun. Frolic, I think, was even kind of around then. They came.
I always remember hearing good Frolic Gold Crown stories.
I remember we all rode in a van to like Dave and Buster's. Like Brady had a van with no seats in the back or anything, and I remember we had lawn chairs in the back of the van and drove all the way to. Not all the way, I guess, but to St. Louis and went to Dave and Buster's or something. And it was fun. That was like probably like the beginning of me getting to like hang out, and make friends in that region, I guess. Cause I was stuck in Columbus. So I didn't really get to hang out with people until that weekend, I felt like.
Before Caitlin came around and ruined it all.
Yeah.
She looked a little rocky on her shotgun on Sunday night. We need to get her. We need to start winning some more.
This is her prime shotgunning. But she looked
since about then that she's done a shotgun. So she was definitely rusty. She didn't have the proper tools, I don't think, to
that is true. She was using her hard card, which I respected the hell out of.
I was watching her, I'm like, you're just like you're making a fool of yourself. Like they're all waiting on you, and just chugged it. So that was good.
It's not bad for.
I told her, because for Also Race they do like fun driver intros with your pit crew and stuff, and like I'm telling you, like the atmosphere was crazy. So I told her, I was like, man, this place would go nuts if you got on the stage during driver shotgun a beer. And I don't know if she wasn't down for it. Just like I think. She just wanted you to win the Millie first, and then she was going to do it. So it was good. It worked out.
Yeah, it did. That was cool. It was fun to watch.
Her beer sponsorship.
Yeah. What's her beer of choice?
I don't know. I think she's related to Brad Sweet and Don Sweet, so any beer.
We're not that picky, to be honest. Any beer. We're not that picky, especially a beer that wants to. Wants to pay
anybody that wants to, you'll take any beer that wants to sponsor you.
Did end up shotgunning one of Michael Waltrip's beers in Victory Lane, so he was.
That's cool. About that. That's awesome.
We should probably talk about Dirt on FloRacing. Episode 2, I think, is airing live right now as we speak. Brad makes an appearance in episode 1. Have you guys watched it? What do you think of Brad's debut here on the big screen?
I've seen it. Have you seen it, Brad?
I haven't.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. We're in my shop and we're doing all this, like, I mean, it was hours of like just basically an interview, and then they plug it all in throughout the episodes. But we get talking about you, and I'm like, oh yeah, Brad Sweet, and then it like cuts from Brad Sweet and it goes straight to you running onto the stage after you won Kings Row. You're like, grand. And they're like, that's my brother-in-law.
I wonder what I would say if I won a Millie.
I know. Yeah. Oof.
No,
there's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
No, so I gotta watch it. What I like to do with shows is I gotta get like a few episodes built up because I can't wait. I gotta just watch it all together. But I've heard a lot of great things about it. I've seen a little bit of highlights here and there, so I'm excited.
Yeah, it is awesome. Flow Films department doing great work. There's a lot of other great stuff on there too. The Bettenhausen documentary is fantastic. So if you haven't watched that, check it out. All right, last thing here, Hold'em or Fold'em. It's the long-awaited. Brad has a Fold'em that he's brought to the table this weekend that we're very excited about. We're holding the Crown cars on the Belleville half mile. I don't know that there's anything cooler than the big cars, banging the guardrail at Belleville. And a great race too. They were USAC's Silver Crown cars in action this past weekend. Crazy race. All right, Brad, your time to shine. What is your Fold'em this week?
Fold them. I think that we should fold them. If you've won $1 million race, you cannot participate or especially win another $1 million race in the same season. So I think Kyle winning the All-Star Million excludes him from participating in the million to win at Eldora. And we'll definitely, whatever the fans, as long as they agree, it has to stick, and Kyle will stand by it.
The fan vote is coming into effect here.
If that's the case, then I guess, Ricky being a car owner, Sheldon can't run for $1 million either. So,
well, Sheldon can, but he just can't drive Ricky's car. If we're saying that, but I don't know. I mean, you can't take all the money.
Why not? Davenport did that.
No, we I guess we just got to beat you, but. Yeah, I actually hope you don't win the million. So I'm just gonna be honest.
So even if you can't win, you don't want me to win?
I wouldn't say that. I just want to win. So I don't really. If I don't win, I honestly don't care who wins, and I'll just be sad that I didn't win. Because that's how I do it for big races.
I'm 49 much better in the last 25% of the races if he wants to win the million. You've been going backwards, man. What's wrong?
Don't worry. This time of year, I don't really.
Caitlin, she always gives me crap because I cheer for Carson over Brad. I'm like, come on, Brad. And
so what you're saying is I'm finally
on seventh. What the heck?
So I'm doing bad enough. You're finally cheering for me.
Yeah, I cheer for the underdog.
Yeah. No, I will say that we got a little off this weekend. We've had a good season. Like, we've been kind of pretty good, like, for a little bit, but we have been a little too hit or miss. So I don't know. I honestly have a really hard time. I get really, really excited once it's time to get excited. So I think it's okay right now. Honestly, I like a little maybe adversity and maybe a little searching. You can kind of have a bad May, but in sprint car racing, we all know it's June, July, and August. So I firmly believe the 49 will be continuing at the Kings Royal, the Houston High Banks Nationals. Every race that we're going to go to, the Million, Knoxville Nationals, Kings Royals, all those. I think the 49 will be ready to go, and I think that's just part of searching with your race car. I think you and Paul know. I mean, it's really hard, like, especially when you want to figure things out for those months. I think you do search a little bit, and I think that's what we're doing a little bit. It's just we're trying to clear up a few things between me and the crew chief, and so we haven't been perfect, but we'll get better for sure.
All right. Any Belleville memories from you guys? You guys are both Belleville champions. I don't want to bury that lead too much, but it's a special place, isn't it? There's a lot. I'm sure there's actually probably a lot of memories from the fair and that sort of thing that we probably can't share, but it's a cool place.
I will say it was really cool to see the big cars and that move on, that Justin Grant and Brady, how they met off turn 4. That was crazy to think that that's Silver Crown cars. That didn't look like Silver Crown racing. So I think that was pretty cool, and I give Justin credit and Brady credit for coming out of that okay, because that was tight racing, but really cool.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I honestly don't remember. I obviously I remember the racing part of Belleville when I ran there in 2011, but I don't remember much other than that. Like, now that you say the fair, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess there was a fair going on.
I've got a great Belleville fair story that I'll have to share off air because it's extremely inappropriate.
Like, that was probably the first time I got to take a picture with a trophy girl in bikini. So like, I was pumped about that. For me at Belleville, like Brian, he was like the dominant guy there for a few years, and he was, it was. I just remember I just wanted to beat him so bad because he was like so cocky, leading in like a whole month before Belleville. All I heard about, oh yeah, Belleville, it's where it separates the men from the boys, and you got to run against the fence and this and that and da-da-da. Like, he already had the race won in his mind, and like, I was so pumped when I beat him both nights. Like, that was like a moment, for me. And obviously, unfortunately what happened to Brian now at Belleville, like for me to have that memory that I conquered not only the track, but beat probably one of the best drivers at that place, means a lot. And I was so jacked up, like pulling a victory night. I don't obviously pay for the bills, but I was rev checking that thing so hard. I remember my leg cramped up in the seat, and like I had a knot on my hip for like a week after the race. So, no, Belleville was cool, and just a sketchy place. Like I'm honestly, I'm glad that I only had to go there one time, and we won, and hadn't raced there again. I mean, I would love to race there again. I feel like I love big tracks and midgets, but I'm okay at the same time to not have to race there. I want to watch others race there for sure, because Belleville, that half mile, I mean, Brian is right. Like it does separate the men from the boys.
Yeah, I actually, honestly, Brian, me and him had some great battles there. You say that, it brings back some good memories. It was right before you came, like, I won in 08, and then me and Brian in 9 and 10 had like epic battles. Like we were slag jobbing each other, and he actually won both of them, which pissed me off at the time, but they were great races. And like we both had a lot of respect for each other. Then you came in, I think 1 and 11, and then so Belleville, I just remember that was that was the place. Like if you could win the Belleville Nationals, it was like you were going places, and it kind of worked. A lot of great drivers have won Belleville, but like you said, I'm good with it being big cars now for sure.
And I agree too. Like after I was, obviously like I wanted to beat Brian so bad, and I said he was cocky leading up to it. Like, after I won, I felt like I did gain like a new level of respect from him. I felt like he respected me a lot more after, I was able to beat him at that place. So miss racing with him for sure. He was a great competitor, and who knows, where he would be at right now in his racing career.
We certainly miss him. That's for sure.
Yep. He was one of the best. Belleville's a crazy place too. Good stuff, guys. All right. I think that's all we got.
You ever raced there, Dylan?
Are you kidding me? I'm not brave enough for that place. I'd be on the quarter mile. I'm good. I'm good down there. I don't need to be on the half mile. Although I did like big tracks on the pavement midget stuff. I was pretty good on the big track stuff there.
Yeah.
In fact, when you probably don't, I don't even know if you remember this, when you were quick time at Milwaukee in the Silver Crown car, I was quick time in the midget.
Really?
Yep. That was back before you were Kyle Larson. You were just driving for Keith Coons at this point. Too, yeah. I mean, seriously. Yeah. All right. Good stuff, guys. Like I said, appreciate it. Granite City next week, Tri-City Speedway, Wednesday, May the 31st. High Limit Series back in action. Kyle's going to try to extend his points lead, and it'll be race number 4 of the 2023 season. So hope to see everybody there. And if you can't be there, you can check it out on FloRacing. As always, guys, thank you again, and we'll see you in St. Louis.